Hey everybody, Chris here. In this video, we're going to be talking about Dogecoin and its price pump that it has had over the past day and a half. This is good trading for Doge. Had a little retrace earlier today, and I will talk about that as well in this video. Please be sure to subscribe to my channel. Hit that little notification bell too so you can be notified when my new videos come out, as well as when I do live streams. And I was live late on Wednesday night following the Boston Celtics' exciting win. The basketball game amongst the two top NBA teams. Great event there at TD Garden. And there were these Algorand signs. Yes, Algorand. And so if you look on my Twitter account at ChrisPax, you can see the Algorand signage that I posted there. That was at TD Garden. That's crypto blockchain technology being advertised. All pretty cool. But what's going on with Doge right now? Well, this retracement here, we can turn to Bitcoin. Look at Bitcoin's drop that it had this morning, and that was after 10 o'clock. So we had the excitement of the ETFs starting trading, the Bitcoin Spot ETFs we've been talking about for months and months and months. Finally approved, trading started, but then we saw this big drop here. And that was kind of interesting. Like, what is happening with that drop? And what I think that is related to is actually the stock market. Look at the S&P 500 and its drop this morning. This drop is because the United States CPI or inflation numbers are actually up, which is a change from the pattern that we have had bringing inflation down. That's not a good sign for the economy. And so we had stocks dropping. And now that Bitcoin has these spot ETFs, isn't that interesting that the ETFs are traded on exchanges, and if their price is going down, which follows the stock market, could we start to see more of a correlation going forward again with cryptocurrencies and the stock market? Maybe we might see that. But overall, again, between Bitcoin and Ethereum and altcoins, how it's all going to play out, we've got a long ways to go. A lot of great things ahead for Bitcoin with the Bitcoin halving. We still have, what's going to happen with the U.S. economy in terms of reducing the rates that we think is going to be good overall for the stocks as well as Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. Certainly in an election year, there's going to be more printing of money that's going to happen here in the United States. So all of that is good, but these inflation numbers are a little tricky and may cause the Fed to actually pause a little longer. But overall for Doge, it came up to almost 8.8 cents right here, which was my target here that I have in orange for the end of that descending wedge that we had. It came up and touched that number. So that's kind of interesting how that kind of lined up there. But what else is going on with Dogecoin and Bitcoin? There was a lot of activity on X last night. There was a Spaces, and there were a lot of discussions. Cathie Wood was asking Elon about Bitcoin. It's a lot about Bitcoin. And there were these others on the panel that seemed like they were Bitcoin maxis, and they were really pressuring Elon, it sounded like, to talk about Bitcoin more, adopting Bitcoin. And Bitcoin, or Elon just started to sort of back off and just pretty much telling them, if you guys keep it up, I'm just going to leave. I'm not going to talk about this. So, yeah, a little frustrating there. Elon Musk says that a crypto will be used as a form of payment on Mars, but not Bitcoin. And that was kind of interesting, the whole discussion about how long it takes for a communication between Mars and Earth, particularly if they're on opposite sides of the sun, and how you'd have to bounce the communication in order to get there, because Bitcoin is blockchain based and transactions need to be validated on the blockchain, and the blockchain can't be on two different planets at the same time, maybe. I think that's kind of what's being insinuated here. Certainly with laser-based communications, over the years, that may continue to get advanced, and we could see sort of a faster kind of communication pattern to be able to be had between two planets, right? This is way forward thinking, though. It's just years in advance. So, but Elon did kind of explain, like, doesn't see Bitcoin being able to handle it. Could Dogecoin as well? I mean, it would be in the same kind of category there, I think. So we're a long ways off from there, but you'll hear spins of this about Elon considering Bitcoin for Mars and things like that. That's not what he said. So you kind of have to watch the news there. But we also had this discussion about, Elon did mention that, well, I still own a bunch of Dogecoin. SpaceX owns a bunch of Bitcoin, which I thought was kind of interesting that he owns Bitcoin. And there, it's like the whole Doge-1 mission was going to be paid for in Doge. If it got paid for, you would expect that SpaceX would have had Dogecoin. But he didn't say that. That doesn't mean SpaceX doesn't have it, but he didn't say that. So that was kind of weird. Not quite sure about that. Elon has said before about X. X is a dog and Doge friendly place. And all of this discussion happening about X payments coming. And if X payments are coming as a P2P, person-to-person payments between two people, whether that is Dogecoin that does that, that is in the cards still. And I firmly believe that there is eventually going to be Dogecoin on X. I think that is going to happen. It's just going to take a little while, and we need to be patient on that. We did have all this excitement yesterday on about the SEC, and on Tuesday when it had that false post/tweet from the SEC, basically saying the Bitcoin ETFs had been approved, but they hadn't officially until Wednesday. And there were these fun posts going on about what kind of password would the SEC should have. And Elon said LFG Doge to the moon should be their password. So still talking about Dogecoin. I mean, Elon is still bringing up Dogecoin. So we'll see how that goes. We have this other fun post from Tiffany Fong about, I went in the Tesla tunnel thingy. So she got to go through the Boring Company's tunnel underneath the streets of Vegas, which was pretty fun. Billy Marcus asks, "Did you pay with Dogecoin?" And to that, Tiffany said, "I love that. I didn't have to pay, but if I did, I would use Dogecoin." So Dogecoin is still being discussed about use as currency. And that's what we're talking about, Doge, use as currency. We'll get to that in a minute when we start talking about these moon targets, right? As use of currency. Keep that in mind. Where Dogecoin stands right now, it is still the number 10 cryptocurrency by market cap, over $12 billion market cap for Dogecoin, firmly in number 10. We have had, again, even despite the dip that we just saw this morning, we still have almost everything in the green. Still everything is in the green. This Ethereum Classic is wild, just taking off. But Bonk and Doge and Sheep, those are the three memes that I own, all performing well. Bitcoin's this little thing over here. And here's Stacks in the red. It's one of the few that's actually in the red is Stacks. So I don't know what to say about that other than Bitcoin ordinals. We'll talk about ordinals in a minute too with relation to Dogecoin. But just kind of interesting how that's cooling off along with Bitcoin. We have liquidations, of course, as the Bitcoin price goes up. We have a lot of shorts getting liquidated. As Bitcoin keeps going up, people keep entering these short positions. And then when Bitcoin goes down, like we saw this morning, then you get these leveraged longs getting liquidated. In this hour, $32 million. This next hour, $25 million. And we see this continuation here of Ethereum and Bitcoin getting liquidated in long positions as price is going down a bit this morning. So I don't know why you guys are still trading with leverage. You're going to get taken out. And yeah, you may be able to close some positions and make some 15, 20x. But then the next one you do, most likely, you're probably going to lose. One other thing about X payments, though. This was from the X Business blog, Transforming the Global Town Square. And still talking about creators on the platform and how creators are getting paid, the increase in advertising on X that's happening, and going forward, there is going to be this strengthening of different ads, partnering with industry leaders, creating more original content, just continuing to grow X. But more importantly, from what we're looking at, we will launch peer-to-peer payments, unlocking more user utility and new opportunities for commerce, showcasing the power of living more of your life in one place. So that launching peer-to-peer payments is one step of many that creates this sort of financial empire that Elon is pushing X to be. So we talk about the moon, and we know we had this unsuccessful astrobotic Dogecoin to the moon lunar lander that is floating out in space somewhere. Very unfortunate, but we do have SpaceX's Falcon 9, the Doge-1 mission with the Doge-1 CubeSat, and also a lunar lander that is happening in February. SpaceTV.net still has February 3rd. Rocket Launch Live, they're saying February 10th. And the Spaceflight Now website is still looking at sometime in February, launch time to be determined. So all of that is just still pointing to February as this SpaceX Doge-1 mission happening. And I think this is going to be huge for Dogecoin. I think we will see and hear from Elon about Dogecoin related to this. Not saying anything yet. I think he wants to be sure that that launch date and time in February is going to happen. But it's going to come. And that's going to be huge for Doge to the moon. Now, we're not talking Mars yet again. That's going to be a while. But what does this mean for future targets? Well, will Dogecoin reach $5 or maybe $10? Again, Dogecoin, current rank is number 10, $12 billion market cap. It's having big volume of trading that's happening. Most commonly used cryptocurrencies for transactions. For the month of November, Dogecoin was ranked 4th. Litecoin was first. That's kind of interesting that Litecoin, we hadn't heard much about Litecoin. Litecoin being used, okay, that's interesting. Over transactions, Bitcoin, of course, was ranked first over the last 6 months in transactions. But here's Doge, ranked 4th overall out of all cryptocurrencies for transactions. So, could Doge reach $5? Is that really a target? There are multiple ways in which Dogecoin could reach this level. A massive increase in Dogecoin being accepted as a payment. That's it right there. Now, they also say significant rise in dApps on Dogecoin, DeFi, NFT. I don't see that happening. There are so many other cryptocurrencies that are working on this, like particularly like SHIB, right? The Shibarium is all about that. Dogecoin doesn't need that. That's not Dogecoin, and you're not going to have a bunch of devs coming in and building on Dogecoin. We did see the Doge ordinals, right? Some attempt there for some of that inscription happening on Dogecoin, but I think that was more of a test and a small thing, not going to be a huge, giant endeavor for Dogecoin. To reach $5, Dogecoin would have to rise 67 times and a market cap of $707 billion. Well, if Dogecoin had a $707 billion market cap, all things being equal right now, Bitcoin is at $900 billion. So it would still be less than where Bitcoin is now. Of course, Dogecoin wouldn't rise up that far without Bitcoin also rising. So Bitcoin would be over $1 trillion. So even at $5, Dogecoin would not be higher than where Bitcoin is now. Kind of makes sense that Bitcoin or Dogecoin could actually reasonably, it's got a long ways to go, right? It's like get to $1 first. And that's still a big target from here, even to get to $1. But the more and more we may see acceptance of cryptocurrencies this year, now that we've got Bitcoin kind of out in the world now with these ETFs, and as this financial instrument of this digital asset, we could see Doge continue to increase in its use as acceptance as cryptocurrency, right, as a currency. We could see that. So in theory, yes, it's quite feasible for Dogecoin to reach $5. Where it stands in the popular imagination, though, right now, it'd be a long ways to go. But things could change if popular acceptance surges, say, via Twitter. So this is X-Twitter here. They're commenting on. Now, Dogecoin $10, yeah, over like $1.4 trillion market cap. That's way out there. We shouldn't even be talking about that. But I say from $5, yes, that is a moon target. Let's get to, first 35 cents, 50 cents, previous all-time high, 74 cents, and then to $1 before we start talking 5. But not completely unreasonable. So Dogecoin now at 8.4 cents. That's where we are. Let me know in the comments below what you think about these future targets, the moon, and maybe Mars. Who knows? Give the video a like. If you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel. I appreciate the support. We'll see you next time.